or we're going into a recession. The first two quarters with real GDP growth negative to us means we're in a recession. And now that many people are worried and are beginning to see recession for as far as the eye can see, we are looking at this recession a little bit differently. We think it's going to be a function of this massive inventory overhang, and that it's going to be a serious inventory correction, but it's not going to be anything like we saw in 08, 09. That was a systemic financial problem caused by the mortgage and financial meltdown. We don't think this is the same thing. So now that many economists are starting to agree with us that we're in a recession or going into a recession, we feel that they might become a little bit too alarmist if this is just an inventory recession. And I think the Fed will have a lot to do with whether or not it is. This is a shock, though, to the system. And this idea that we have an inventory overhang, we think it's going to get bigger as consumers pull back, low saving rates, 3.5% versus 8% where it was before COVID. And so we'll see. We think this holiday season is going to be pretty tough.
And so as you kind of ready your shopping list for that holiday season, Cathy, when you think about some of the kind of ways that equity valuations are starting to price in that recession to the best of their ability, is there a big buy that you now kind of think through or evaluate going into the end of the year here?
Well, you have to consider the source here. Our focus, our sole focus, is on disruptive innovation. And we also believe that innovation solves problems. We had a tough time going into COVID with our kind of strategy. And then we had a boom in our strategy during COVID because guess what? We needed the genomic revolution to help sequence the coronavirus and figure out tests and vaccines. And our kinds of companies helped with that. We think with supply chain issues and with the food and energy prices caused by this shock, this Russia's invasion of Ukraine, that once again, innovation is going to help solve these problems. Electric vehicles, there's an accelerated consumer preference shift towards electric vehicles like Tesla because of oil prices. And we think there's no stopping that trend now. And in terms of food prices, we do believe that gene editing is going to help us figure out how to produce crops in areas that are less fertile than the Ukraine, the breadbasket of Europe, with less water, less fertilizer, less pesticide. So we're going to continue to see the miracles associated with the genomic revolution, but our other strategies as well, whether we're talking about robotics, solving the labor shortage, energy storage. I mentioned electric vehicles pulling us away from oil consumption, artificial intelligence, which is going to help every company become more competitive if they use their data and combine it with other data in effective ways. And then blockchain technologies, which is going to take the middlemen out of a lot of businesses and take the cost out of a lot of businesses, helping us to solve this inflation problem. So again, consider the source. We think innovation solves problems. It certainly gave us an appreciation of that during COVID. Our strategy was high flying, and we think we have even more problems right now. So